Welcome to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I am your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my wife, Abigail.
Hey.
And our producer, Adam Marino.
I was jamming to the tune.
Oh, yeah. It's quite a jam.
Who, I love your shirt.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Fort Wayne, Indiana on it. It looks so good.
That is good.
We'll drop the link. We'll drop the link in the show notes. But
who is it?
First and Wilkerson is the company, and they're at the farmers market as well on Bar Street in the summer.
It's very unique in terms of it's like a new laser type thing that they
the
do, right?
quality, guys, is unreal. What's super cool is this local guy makes all these shirts based on familiar logos. So the Coca-Cola can, as we know, it says "Enjoy Coca-Cola," right? And it's got the red, and then it's got the squiggly. Well,
that's kind of what the design there is.
Well, not in this one in particular, but he has a one that says exactly like that, and it says "Enjoy Fort Wayne."
Oh, fun!
Yeah.
And then I have another one that I've sported before, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, a famous band that most people have heard of. Their logo, most people have seen that, where it goes in a circle and says Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Right.
Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it's the same style of logo.
Very cool.
Built Fort Tough. Like with the blue circle, like Ford.
Like it.
Has all of them.
Yeah.
It's super cool, super like makes you do a double take.
Yeah.
But you can design your own and send it to him, and he'll print it for you.
That's very cool.
So again, the link is in the show notes, guys. Super cool guy.
That's so fun. We should have him do some Hoosier.
Yeah, Hoosier Pickleball. That'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
Very cool. We also have another special guest in the studio.
She's the cutest one we've had. Sorry, Ryan. And
she's been here before because she was sick before.
And look at that shirt.
Yeah, this is Elinor. This is our youngest.
She's the one who just turned 7. She's our Amelia Bedelia.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Our little Amelia. But Elinor is not feeling well again. So if you hear her coughing in the background, I'm going to push her off so she doesn't cough on me. But she was wearing that Hoosier Pickleball shirt that we mentioned last week in the episode as well.
And for the record, she literally did that herself. I said, we're going to go record a podcast. And she was like, well, hold on. I got to go put on her shirt.
Yep. And we're going to be in a couple weeks giving away a couple of those. So make sure you leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star rating to get your name in the hat for that.
And shout out to Elinor.
Way to be, Elinor.
Yeah. So that's how it would be how life is crazy is.
Yeah.
It's like still illness season, it's still February. And
well, even today you were running one to the doctor, have another one home.
I've got to stick at home. And I have another one who's like trying to stay home because she's.
I didn't even ask this morning. She was really working it.
Trying to stay home.
Yeah. Our teenager feeling those. I will say, though, I'm feeling some of those just mid-February, just doldrums where it's like, just want to. And the sun's been shining, but it just wants some warm weather. Just spring is around the corner, but
it's been a pretty February, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's February.
No matter how you slice it,
the longest, shortest month. It's the worst.
I've said this for 15 years: never make a big decision in February.
Yeah,
because it'll be the wrong one. Because it's February.
This is how my mind works. What did you say 16 years ago?
I would cut my bangs in February.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what I need to do? Cut my hair.
Cut my hair.
So bad choices, guys.
For sure. So today's episode is kind of a, what do we call it? A hodgepodge, a smorgasbord. Mishmash.
Brilliant.
Lots of different
Brilliant
stuff.
thoughts.
Brilliant thoughts. Hopefully at least a couple of them are. But yeah, we just kind of have seen some things here and there that thought, this might be a good topic to talk about on the pod. So we wanted to just kind of break those here today. I guess a quick update though. First, do you want to talk about my
do that, please.
My MLP? So on last week's episode, I talked about my excitement of playing in the tournament that was down in Terre Haute this past weekend, and it was awesome. It lived up to every expectation. Had a great team.
You played well.
Which
is always nice because sometimes you might not.
Right. And even leading up to that, I was like, oh man, I'm not playing great.
You had played not well on Saturday morning.
Poorly, yeah.
And
so I had an early morning men's group that played in and did not go great. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. I'm going to embarrass myself going to this tournament.
But I was like, I think before a tournament, you'd rather play poorly than play well, because then when you then get to the tournament, you're like back to the basics.
For sure. Yeah. see it all the time. You had
Yeah.
like in golf or basketball, sports I've played competitively a lot. You'd have a great warm up and then translates on the course or on the court very poorly, or the exact opposite.
Because I think you get like arrogant and you get too risky.
A little too confident. So
yeah.
Anyways, it was a great tournament. Just to kind of give a quick recap, we were Team Gray. They seeded us based on like the combined duper rankings, and I think we were like the 3rd or 4th seed, so kind of middle of the pack out of 6 teams that played in this. We ended up winning our first match in a tiebreaker, so they do this barn burner where it goes to singles, and I didn't feel real confident about our chances in singles. None of us.
And you play 4 points, right?
Right, you played 4 points at a time, so James was our number 1 guy. He went first, and he won his first 4. And I'm like, oh, crap, I got to play this
No
guy
pressure.
who James and I had just lost to. It ended up only being the only men's loss that we had the entire day. But these 2 guys were pretty solid, and so I played their other guy, and I ended up, I think I won all 4 points as well.
I saw that. I watched
so
it.
we were up 8-0 right off the bat. We ended up winning at like 15-2 or 3. It was pretty much a thrashing. So we won that first match. We won our next 2. We ended up losing our 4th one, but we were already in the top 2. So when we played our last one, it was against the other team that was already going to be in the top 2. So it was kind of like we're playing, but more just kind of trying to feel each other out. We ended up winning, or actually we ended up losing that one in the tiebreaker. So we really went 3-2 in the pool play. But then the top 2 teams played each other for gold, and then we won that actually pretty easily. We won 3 out of the 4 matches, and both the mixed match. So I ended up playing most of my mixed with the stronger of the 2 gals. So Jules, shout out to Jules Gillum from Illinois, the west coast of Illinois, as I said last week. But yeah, she was really solid. Kind of a different player than I've played with before. She had an unconventional, and she even warned me of that right away. She's like, just like, I kind of don't really use a backhand. I kind of more come across and smack across with my forehand, even on the backhand side. So it was a little different, kind of getting used to that, but she was super cool to play with. Put up with all of my crazy tendencies.
Well, and there was one particular point where you
You
want to talk about that?
Yeah,
I actually didn't see it. So you live streamed everything, but
I went back and showed you. So
couldn't see some of it.
I saw some.
Yeah. It was the only match that Jules and I ended up losing, and on the very final point, I can't even tell. I looked back at it.
I watched it. I don't even understand.
It looks like I just decided to dive on the ground, and I
you just like fell into the kitchen.
Into the kitchen, and that's an automatic fault, and it was game over. And it's like, okay. So we did get.
It's like he just was like,
thanks.
We did get payback in that game in the next.
Like you hit the 8 ball in on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, the game's over now.
He's like, I'm just going to fall into this.
What are you doing? So, and everybody's laughing. I'm like, oh no. Everybody watching on the live stream's like, oh yeah, that's just Matt.
Classic.
Matt being Matt.
Classic.
But no, Jules was great. She was very much like a great mixed doubles partner, where she was like, no, come over as much as you can. You know, don't feel like you're hogging the court. Take what you can. And we communicated well for really not playing together.
That's the big thing, is not having playing together,
so
being able to communicate.
Had a good partnership there. And then James was awesome to play with. Just one of the most solid players I've ever played with. Super fast hands. Just absolutely kills the ball. He plays in a lot of pro events as well, so he's played against the top players in the world, and him talking about that was really interesting. That to me, I look at his game and I'm like, man, it's just like next level in terms of his speed and his hands. And he's like, oh, when I play against the pros, it's just even elevated beyond that, which is just crazy. Because TV, internet, streaming just does no justice to how fast pickleball can be when you're down there in the trenches.
Well, anything pro, they make it look easy.
Yeah.
So you're like, well,
yeah, I could do that. I could think it for.
I actually started listening to this podcast that I highly recommend called Pickleball Problems.
Yeah.
And there's this one episode that was like 7 things pros can do that you can't. And I was like, check.
Only 7?
Well, the top 7. And
Between your legs? Can you guys do that one?
No.
Yeah. Have you worked on it?
Yes, I've tried.
Really?
I've gotten a
Did
little.
You hit yourself? Oh, ow.
Yeah. As a guy, it's especially kind of scary.
Well,
you're like, well, don't want to hurt yourself.
Something else hanging out down there.
Right.
But just to wrap up the event in Terre Haute, shout out also to Jonathan LaFleur, who did an awesome job putting the whole thing together. He was a great host, and this facility was like a big bubble. It had 6 pickleball courts and 3 tennis courts. So you really could fit 12 in this giant, kind of like the old Hoosier Dome type style of bubble dome. Evidently here in Fort Wayne Country Club puts one up that's kind of similar. That some people have played at. I have not. But really a cool facility, and the weather was it was chilly in there, but it was in the high 40s that day. So it was warm enough when you were playing that I didn't feel cold at all.
So for our listeners, would you recommend getting into an MLP style tournament?
100%. And even if you're not a big singles player, that barn burner is what we called it. Dream breaker is what MLP calls it. But that style is really a lot of fun because it comes down to that, and then you're rooting on your teammates, and you're pretty excited when you are scoring points that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun way.
Really
instead of just calling it a tie, to have it come down to that. It's kind of cool.
Just a really fun duper level team event. It sounds really fun.
Yeah. Would love to even look at putting something like that together here in the Fort Wayne area for all levels. I mean, you could do 2 different tournaments for different level players, and I think people would have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and I love all these creative things they're doing versus just regular tournaments, which are also fun, but this just brings a new dimension, I think, to pickleball. Meanwhile, at home, I just have to say that actually, shout out to Marcus Woodhouse, inspired me to bring out Parcheesi. And the girls and I played an epic game of Parcheesi.
Parcheesi has been...
Elinor over there was the winner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Elinor's a big winner in Parcheesi.
I like it.
Last night we played.
She had a comeback
victory.
She had
a huge comeback. It was incredible. And then she did a little dance, and her sisters got mad at her. And
we need to be good winners, too.
We're learn to be good winners and losers.
So, anyways.
So, all right. That's kind of the family update, local play or tournaments that we've been playing as well. You want to get into some of the things? Yeah. What do you want to start with? I thought this was good.
Well, I had we talked about the intergame of tennis just last week?
Yeah, mentioned that.
So funny. And then I see it come across somewhere. I don't know where. All the newsletters and Facebook, whatever that I'm on. But one of the things that I mean, everybody needs to work on is even starting at 3-0 and then working your way up is neutralizing a hard hit. Either being able to softly reset that, or if they're back, punch volleying it back to their feet.
Yeah, we're talking about bangers who are hitting it hard at you. How do you counter that?
And so if as you get better at that, you get higher levels. Well, the bangers, if you will, only get harder. So you only have harder hitters. And then I think, more tennis players are becoming involved in pickleball and younger. So these young tennis players are just so good.
The game is speeding up.
There's no
question about it.
So here I'm thinking I'm awesome. I can neutralize, a 4-0, 4-5, and then I play against a 5-0 hard hit tennis player, and I'm like, she owns me on the court. I'm like, okay, how can I continue to get better at neutralizing that? So I just thought this was really good. This visualization for a punch volley. So most players, and this is actually my little plug to video yourself. I still think it's good, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes, just to see how your body mechanics are. But many players, and probably myself, overreach, overswing, and overdo. So here's your visualization for this inner game of tennis: is visualize the image of a prize fighter. So you got your fists up, your knees are bent, you're on the balls of your feet. But if you swing, reach back to swing, you're going to get popped in the jaw, right? So you keep your hands up. And so, make sure that you're, up and ready and forward motion. And one of the things that this coach likes to do is actually practice these volleys with their backs against a wall or a fence so that they can't swing backwards. And that'll help keep that, everything in the forward motion. So I just thought that was really good and
so a good image. I can have you go in the basement, line you up, put you against the wall, and just fire the ball at you.
Yeah, because
that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
that's all I heard. That sounds like a great.
Were you listening?
Great
right is what you're.
Yeah. Yes, you can do that. I think it's good though. It's good for me because I'm wanting to play higher and higher levels, and the balls are only getting harder and lower and faster. And
I think
I love that
idea though of the prize fighter, because you're not. you're not attacking so much, but you're playing a lot more defense. You're keeping everything kind of compact.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. So, but being able to visualize what you want your body to do is the key here.
Yep. And we talked about that last time, that's all what the inner game of tennis is about that visualization and about that mental side of the game. So
yeah, it's so crazy how it does work.
Yeah, that's good.
There you go. There's a little tip.
All right. How about topic number 2? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I also seen this too about if you've plateaued. So some thoughts to if you want to get over your hump.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that Matt and I think you should do is hire one of us.
Yeah.
To
give you lessons.
To give you lessons. Not because there's any expertise that we necessarily have. I mean, we do, but sometimes somebody just needs to look at you.
Another set of eyes.
Another set of eyes. Exactly.
And I feel like that. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm at the point where I want to get a lesson again, just to kind of have some other people talk to me. I actually, in the event that I played in with James, who's an over 5-0 player, I said to him, afterwards, like, hey, give me a couple things. What did you feel like I could do better? Or what do I need to get to the next level? And
what did he say?
He had some good thoughts. He was first very complimentary about my game.
Good.
He said, your third shot drops were money, which is, and I know that's kind of my strength. He also identified what I know as my weakness, and he just said, when you get a little out of control, your shots get kind of going everywhere. So it's kind of that whole thing that I say to you a lot too, is go slow or go fast to go slow. Like, get to your spot, but then get set. So working more, because I don't have the tennis background, but doing that split step and going, getting to my next spot, getting set so that I can hit under control my next shot instead of flying all over the place, hitting some wild shots. Because sometimes the wild shots go in, but to be more consistent, just being more under control and stuff like that. So that was helpful. But to actually,
it's so good to have somebody else look at you.
Yeah.
And give you feedback.
Yeah. So we've talked about before, and this can kind of segue into the other part we've talked about, is videotaping yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So taking a lesson with somebody is great. But one of the services Abby and I also offer is videotaping yourself playing, or have us videotape you.
And we'll criticize you.
Yeah. And then just let us criticize you for an hour.
For
tell you everything you did wrong.
For a fee.
And you'll pay us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is, there's nothing more powerful than watching yourself back on video, seeing the things that you're doing, thinking, man, I didn't know I did that, or I didn't see that before, but kind of getting tips that way as well.
Or even just, I was told this, and I believe you, but sometimes it's still different seeing it, like, holy cow, you're right.
Right.
Like, I really do probably sink too much off my line.
Yeah.
And so it's just really interesting watching it.
So anything else from that?
Yeah, well, just from that too, this was an interesting point. When playing rec play, so this is how to overcome a plateau. So possibly get some lessons, drill, obviously. But then I loved this. This is Ron Ponder. He's like the famous ref, right?
Yeah.
He said, when playing rec, decide who the weaker opponent is and hit to them occasionally. Concentrate on hitting to the better player. You've got to hit better shots. You'll get better shots hit back to you, and then you'll get better.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the way that works.
Oh my goodness.
And what we've talked about before too, it's a growth mindset. You want to get better. Like, who cares if you're winning rec games? In rec play, challenge yourself. Try to play it to the stronger player, and then when it comes time for the tournament, do the exact opposite.
Right.
Find the weaker player and exploit their weakness until they figure it out, or you win. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good, yeah.
You want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
Or you got more ready?
I
ready
have
to go?
so much more.
So much more.
But let's take a break.
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come right back. See you in a minute. Come join the fun at pickleballrocks.com, your trusted authority when it comes to all your pickleball needs. Apparel, paddles, bags, hats, you name it, you'll find it there. Family owned and operated for nearly 15 years.
Matt and I are growth pros for Pickleball Rocks, and for being a loyal listener of the One More Game podcast, we can offer you a 15% discount at checkout when you use the code MATTB15. So head over to pickleballrocks.com and check it out. Let's play.
Alrighty, welcome back to One More Game, presented by Hoosier Pickleball. So talking just about a variety of things today, and one of the things that we've had a lot of kind of fun points or situations lately that we thought would be kind of interesting to talk through. Both of us, and I don't know if this has happened in all the pickleball I've played over the last few years, maybe once or twice this has happened. And it happened to both of us just within the last week,
it's
right?
never happened to me. But the funny thing is I see this question all the time on Facebook. Yeah. What happens when? And of course, the comments are hysterical.
Yeah. So explain what we're talking about. What happens?
So my opponents hit the ball to us with
usually kind of awkwardly, like it comes off the end of their paddle, or they try to hit like some crazy overhead and it spins weird off the head of their paddle.
I think what had actually happened, because I think once you get to the higher levels, there's just spin off of spin off of spin, and this ball is going crazy. So I think I sliced it really hard. I'm not sure what they did over there. I don't know if they sliced it back, but basically bounced on my side and then went over the net and bounced onto the other side.
Back to their side.
And I was like,
so Adam, let me ask you, do you know whose point that is then?
No.
So I'm playing you and I hit it over to you. It bounces on your side and then spins back naturally back to my side. No idea?
Well, no. I will say I have an idea.
What's your idea?
The idea is, first of all, if it does come back to you, though, do you hit it? What did you do, though? You let it just fall
you tell me.
ground?
Whose point's it going to be?
Well, I don't know until you hit it. That counts. If it landed on them, they don't have to physically make contact with it in order for it to come back to your side, right?
They actually do. So
okay.
So that's where the
Had I not been paralyzed with what did I just see because I'd never seen it, I could have run to the net and hit the ball into the net, right? Yeah. And is that what you did?
Well, yeah. So this was during the MLP event that I did. I call it an MLP, like I played in the MLP.
Just go with it.
Yeah. It was called the Superstar Shootout. In the team tournament that I did on Saturday, a guy hit one and it kind of went pretty high in the air, bounced right in the kitchen. I could tell by the spin that it was probably going to go back to the other side. So I did run up, and after it bounced to the other side of the net, I reached over across the net and I kind of hit it down. Like the best shot you could do is hit it back into the net on their side so they have no chance of getting it. I think I just kind of hit it down kind of towards out of bounds. Well, the interesting thing with that point was after I hit it, they kind of looked at me like, what just happened? Because it is kind of confusing. And I think the one confusing. Gal wasn't sure like whose point that was. And so I kind of explained it. Well, then the guy did say to me, he goes, but I think you hit the net. And I said, oh, I don't think I did. And he's like, well, I kind of thought you did. And so it should have probably been a replay, but then he's like, no, never mind. It's fine.
And you're an honest guy.
And I mean, if I would have known I hit the net, I haven't gone back and rewatched that. But if I had hit the net, if I had touched the net, then it would have been their point because that would have been a fault on me. So anyways, kind of an interesting point.
Really funny, just funny to actually see it happen.
So if you ever get the opportunity to do that, I would like to have one where I hit back into the net to kind of kill the point. So all right, another fun point is a nasty Nelson. Any idea what a nasty Nelson is, Adam? It's not a full Nelson. We're not talking wrestling moves here,
right? Or
a half Nelson. It's a nasty Nelson.
Yeah, no. I mean, because I know I'm thinking of like hitting it hard into someone's chest, but I mean,
kinda,
well, you're close, yeah. But it's on a serve.
So it's technically not good pickleball etiquette, but when you're among friends, so I'm just standing there. My partner,
I think I know now.
My partner's receiving the ball, and my friend Jeff Coyle is across from me and just nails me in the leg intentionally with the ball.
Yeah, I've seen it almost happen before.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
No, so it's when you're serving to your opponent and the other person who's already up at the net, as they should be, is just standing there and the ball hits them. Then it's the service team's point because you technically kind of got in the way of their serve. Right,
but he actually hit me.
But is there a trajectory call on that? Like, what if
No, I mean, because you can't judge a trajectory call, so you just have to say, well, if it hits the opponent, then it's...
It was not going to go
you can
into...
just aim.
For sure.
Yeah, he aimed at me.
Yeah.
But which we thought was
So
pretty
it
hilarious.
can be a smart move if you see the other person's not paying attention.
Right.
They're kind of turned.
Sometimes I do look down.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't paying attention.
Or if you've got a fast enough serve, you kind of slice it in a way that even when they try to move out of the way, they're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
I have to say I've tried it before, never been successful.
What do you call this?
Yeah.
In rec play, when you serve it so close to the line and so like high up that it's just a struggle to return it. That's just pickleball.
Just a good serve.
That's just it's a good serve.
That's
Adam.
just pickleball.
Like
Way
you're
to
saying,
go.
it's deep.
Deep and
Yeah.
high.
Super deep and high.
An
where
ace.
it's like
I call that an ace.
yeah, you just call that good playing.
Good-
Like, good
good
job,
pickleball,
buddy.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
no. But I told Jeff, I said, I sent him that gift later of like, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Like,
Right.
there's no way. I don't even think I could hit somebody if I tried. Like across from me. So
Yeah.
we laughed pretty hard at that.
That was pretty good.
I don't think you should probably do that in a tournament, but,
But if you're playing amongst friends and just
Right.
having fun with it.
that was fun.
You also had, and we're going to put this in the show notes,
Mm-hmm.
an ATP or a failed ATP. So we kind of want to talk about, so an ATP, for those of you that don't know, stands for around the post. And so if the ball is out wide and the net really only extends about a foot beyond the sideline. So sometimes there's an angle where you can go around the post. There's no rule that says you have to go over the net. So you can go around the net and hit it into the court is a good way to score points. So at the high levels, it happens quite a bit. Sometimes, high levels as well, you'll play good defense on an ATP attempt and be able to get it back in play and keep the rally going. But we were just playing the other day, and we have a great example of one on video where Abby got pushed pretty wide.
But I was not. This is what's so good about video. It was evident to me to see I just am not patient enough to wait for it to get lower. So.
And we'd say that's the number one key is patience on the ATP. Wait till that ball. It's the exact opposite of most of the time you say we want to hit the ball when it's at its apex after it bounces. But with a ATP, you want to wait till that ball gets as close to the ground as possible, because the best ATP is a little screamer that you hit that's only a few inches off the ground and just goes straight across and bounces on their court, and they can't really do anything with it.
Yeah, but it's a good video of what not to do.
Yeah, and you were in the right position. You just waited.
Didn't wait.
You needed to wait another fraction, and you probably hit it at about knee level. So how high is a knee off the ground? A foot and a half?
90. It's not very high.
Not very high. So you can wait till it gets to 3 or 4 inches off the ground, and just you might scrape your paddle on the ground a little bit, but you can fire that ball across.
And I do want to say that I later on in the morning had an ATP.
You
that
did?
was beautiful.
Did we get that on video?
We didn't.
Unfortunate.
So I can't prove it.
And I would say this also, it doesn't matter what level you are. ATPs are accessible. I see beginners and even, intermediate players pass up ATPs all the time because they're just not thinking about it. But once that ball goes off the court a foot, you essentially have an angle to the back corner, and you can kind of look to practice that, take a bucket of balls and stand a couple feet off the court and just work on firing balls to that back corner and see if you can kind of get used to that. Because once you start looking for them, you notice there's a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, they're all the time.
Yeah.
I don't jump on those opportunities all the time because I'm not patient enough and I miss so many of them.
Yeah. And if
So
you're
I
playing
need to get
against
better at
somebody who
that.
doesn't, if you don't have that as a weapon in your arsenal, then you're going to have a hard time playing against players that push the ball wide. Because if somebody's not going to go ATP on you, you're going to push them real wide because it's really hard for them to then get the ball back across the net.
Yeah, it's a good weapon.
Yeah. You want to talk about poaching a little bit? I thought this was good,
That's
right?
You're the poaching king.
Yeah, but you saw this somewhere
Yeah,
talking
I
about
did.
Deckelbar, who's maybe the most
Master poacher.
the master poacher.
Yeah, I mean, this is just in mixed doubles as the guy is anticipating a lot of poaching. I knew.
And by poaching, again, for some listeners and may not know what that means, it means looking for an opportunity to kind of cross
insert
over
yourself
to
into the game.
into the game on the other side of the net or the other side of the court that you're accustomed to playing for. So typically the guy playing on the left side is poaching and going over to the right side and taking a ball that was really meant to be hit to his partner.
And I mean,
Sorry.
we had kind of talked about this, not only hitting behind them, but I guess I hadn't really thought of just hitting the return to making him take the third. And that way he stays more honest on his side. And then you can really then nail the fifth or the seventh or, whatever on the other side to the female, because you've kept him honest by hitting him.
Yep. Trying to get to his backhand, not being afraid.
Yeah, not being afraid to hit to him, I guess.
Yeah, because if you pretend he's not there and he's going to come over and take that ball, but if you hit to him, he may not have, especially his strong forehand, because a left-sided player who's got a real strong forehand can come across and just smash that ball. Opposed to if it's more into his body or even at his backhand, it's going to, like you said, keep him a lot more honest. But starting with the return, return a lot of times to the stronger player to keep them back and not have them crash in the net and trying to get their poaches in.
And we had kind of talked about in our stats episode of like how many returns that or how many thirds that Ben Johns hits versus Anna Lee. He hits significantly more because they're trying to keep him back as the dominant. Yeah. Speaking of our stats episode, let's just real quick. Yeah. There was a new record broken.
Oh yeah.
And I have it I gotta be honest with you. The 7-year-old has my phone right now, and I have this on my phone.
It was 97.
97. Okay, but I don't remember what was it. Ben Johns and
probably
Wright and Newman.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
They were playing together or against each other?
Against each other. Gotcha. Yes, I'm sorry. The Johns versus them, and a new record of 97
dinks back and forth.
Hits.
The rally was 97.
It's amazing.
That is incredible, considering the one that I have on video was like 49. Yeah. And I thought that went on forever.
Yeah.
Now I will say I can remember playing one time in a real it was a real competitive game, and it was one of those where we dinked forever. I bet it got close to 100 because nobody wanted to make the mistake.
Right.
I'm sure it was a little higher level when Ben Johns and Riley Newman are going back and forth. There are probably some incredible, resets and speed ups and resets again.
Lobs and
but that's 97.
It'd be fun to just try to get to 90.
Yeah.
Just for even your cardio.
Yeah.
For a good workout.
Kind of back and forth, saying no speed ups. Just try and can we dink it back and forth that many times?
Can we stay focused for that long?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good one. We'll have to try that.
Yeah.
All right. We wanted to conclude with this before we wrap this episode up. You came across this. This was on the Kitchen Pickleball community on Facebook. And just an open-ended question here. A genie grants you one wish, and you can instantly master one pickleball skill. What skill do you choose? Adam, let's start with you. What would you choose?
So I was thinking about, I saw the same post, and I was thinking I still think the ability to return a bang is still for me the biggest issue. I'm an athlete by nature. I've played basketball, football, baseball, softball. I love sports. I play sports. I like to stay
you got
active.
Good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I can pick up things pretty easy. I've picked up pickleball pretty easy. I'm not like a 5-0, but I'm just saying I've picked up how to do it. I instantly was doing my spinach, as we know. I like the spinach. I start from the very first time I started doing that because I knew from ping pong and stuff
But bangers give you trouble.
Just like a fastball down the middle of the plate gives me trouble. So that would be my thing. Of course, I want to dink better. Of course, I want to return a serve better where it's difficult for them because they have to let it bounce, right? Of course, I want to make it difficult for them. Yeah. But overall, it's returning a bang.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to jump on that too. As much as I would like to say something fancy like an Ernie timing and be perfect at that forehand and backhand, I think, there is several particular beautiful drivers in my life who just wipe the floor with me. Yeah. I would love to be able to just snap my fingers and be able to combat that. Hit such a nice low shot right back at their feet.
Yep. I think the thing, and again, this was when we played with Marcus, that he did so well. Several times I saw people hit hard shots, and he just did an angled deflection. Wasn't even trying to get it back to them or drop it, but just deflecting it away from them. I think that's really effective. Which
Yeah.
is maybe something to work
Yeah,
on
maybe.
in that
It's a good idea.
aspect. Man, I've got like 5 of them. If I had to only choose one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I think the one that I will go with is just the serve. If I could master, I mean, it was a weapon for me when it was the spin serve. And if you can have a hard, like if I could consistently put the ball on the back line or the back 6 inches with pace, that is going to set up the rest of the point, because then
They'll have a short, hopefully out of control
they're probably
return.
going to have a short return, or they might you might win the point on your serve.
Yeah.
But it's either going to give you an opportunity to come up and drive it, or come up and have an easy third to get to the line. So I feel like that would be the weapon that I would want to be able to set up the rest of the point.
That's a really good thought.
Yeah.
This is off the cuff, guys.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of
Not
serve,
scripted.
not scripted.
Because the rest of this was so scripted.
Yeah, no kidding.
What do you think? I am still seeing people spin the ball with their hands
Like
during a
just
serve.
blatantly breaking the rules.
Yes. What do you do? I saw it yesterday.
Really?
I'm not going to tell you who it was on the show,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you later. And his serve was, it's a guy. I was the
Well,
only
that narrows
girl,
it
so that
down.
makes sense.
And it was a wicked serve because of it.
Well,
or
it was wicked. And I was like, so then I started paying attention. I'm like, he's spinning it.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything, but I
So-
told my partner, I was like, he's spinning his serve.
Now this is my personality.
What
but
do I
here-
do?
Oh, here's what I do.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
you
know
do.
if you're as mean as me. Oh, so we're just spinning the serve then?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so-
is that?
so that's
Oh,
cool.
hey John, is that what we're doing now?
Yeah. Oh, hey, do you mind if I just serve from the kitchen then? Is that cool? Like, we good? We're good then. We're just doing whatever rules we want.
Right.
I'm kind of with Adam.
Right. I
I
hear
like-
you.
I like the
I did that
sarcasm.
once. I did that
If
once.
Abby did that, people would be like,
I know. Like, oh God.
I know. I feel
But
like,
if I do it, they're like, oh, that's Adam.
right. Like, guys can get away. This is like society.
Well, and
Guys can get
especially
away with
if-
saying things girls can't.
No, but especially you being you said you were the only girl.
I was the only girl. but-
Girlfriend, you gotta throw that out
I
there.
did.
throw the
didn't.
yellow
I
flag.
didn't.
Or just catch the ball. When the serve comes, just catch it.
Yeah, like-
you spun that. Do it the right way.
I've done it twice already. I've
Oh.
told two people.
Well, what
Two
are you asking us
people.
for?
Right.
But that's
You're
why,
just-
because I'm still seeing it.
What was
so then
the-
I'm like, should
what
I
was the
stop?
reaction? Were they like, I forgot,
Oh.
or I didn't think
They
you'd
were
catch
not
me.
not happy, not happy at all. One of them says, "Shut up," and I was like,
Oh, like,
What?
Don't give away my secret.
I know. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, it's 2023.
But here's
you can't do
here's
that.
the thing. I mean, if you were trying to, like, when I was doing it, I was like twisting hard.
can do it.
So I mean, if you just did a little like this, how
can
much
barely-
good is it really even doing?
Right.
I can't imagine.
The
like
idea
that.
of it is to really put
Right.
the English on it,
Right.
and
If
you
it-
can't get English
If that
you're
ball
just,
rotation is just going like this when you hit
But
it,
then
That doesn't do
you're
anything.
already starting it, and then you're finishing it with your paddle. I'm telling you, it mattered yesterday. Is what I'm telling you.
Well, he was more blatant with it though.
Well,
then,
I
is
think
what
it was more of a side because it
Yeah.
was bouncing to the side, and I was like,
interesting. Interesting.
Now you can still make the ball if you serve it with kind of a
Yeah.
slicing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
still get movement.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's legal. That's totally fine. But,
So why don't you just do that, guys?
right. Because you can get more. If you can generate some, you can get more.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
I'm
That's-
saying not
yeah.
with.
So you guys out there, you just watch.
Anyway,
People are
you
still
watch
doing
yourself.
Abby's gonna call you out.
Yourself.
Okay, that
All right.
was.
Something we love. Let's finish this episode off.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I had something really good. No, I forget. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say. I started the new Netflix series, Full Swing. It's a documentary on the PGA Tour.
That's what you've been watching. I wondered.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Enjoying. I always love the behind the scenes stuff, especially I like golf and like to see that. Some really cool stories though of just relationships and different golfers. Definitely makes you like some golfers more and some golfers a little less. So
Are you gonna name them?
I will say that I like Tony Finau a lot more than I did before. And yeah, I will just say Brooks Koepka is somebody who I wasn't real impressed with. His attitude was just
Interesting.
a little selfish. No,
Do we have anything to say about the controversy right now with Tiger Woods?
no, we're not getting
Okay.
into that. Goodness gracious.
Like, get over it is my.
Well, I'm not going on record saying anything.
I am. I don't
Why?
care.
Yeah.
I'll go on record and say, "Amen." Just get over it.
Get over it.
Have
It's
a sense
two
of humor.
guys- Yeah,
Have a sense of humor.
and he apologized.
You don't even need to. Anyways,
what's something you love, Abigail?
I'm going to push this one more time and probably more than once, but I just got a brand new pair of earrings from my Fair Trade Friday. If one
it's a great
listener,
cause. Yep.
if one listener would just go sign up, it would make me so happy.
Okay. And how do they do
it? Rescues fairtradefriday.com. I think you can Google Fair Trade Friday, and I get an earring of the month club. There's other different things, but it helps rescue women out of vulnerable exploitation, for lack of a better word. Yep. But if one person, I would just be so happy.
It's awesome. It's a good cause.
It is. It's near and dear to my heart as a woman with children.
Yes. 5 of them.
5 of them.
All of them girls. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there.
That was fun.
Yeah. It's a good episode. Good topics. And if you have anything you want to talk about, we do have some guests we're going to be bringing in here shortly. Some ones we're really excited about.
Ooh, yeah.
So we will be doing that soon. But that's it for this episode. Thanks again for joining us on One More Game. We will see you next time. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.